Hello beautiful bookworms! My name is Katarina and welcome to my channel. So, I am back! I have been away this week, as some of you might know, as I said in some of my videos, and I only did like a minor upload of a currently reading video and how is everything going. That was like 1 minute long. I am so sorry, but I haven't had the time for anything else. But now I am back. And what better way to be back than to start with a review? So I'll be reviewing a book that I finished before going on my trip for the week. And that book is Love in Times of Cholera by Gabriel García Marquéz. So as you may know, I also did a review for one of his other books, his most important book, people say, which is called 100 Years of Solitude. And after that, I read this one, and I have to say, like, doing just a short comparison between the two, which you actually can't because they're not about the same thing, but this was more fast-paced and less political than the other, which doesn't mean that I liked it more. I actually loved 100 Years of Solitude. I think it is probably one of his best books, but I can't actually say that because I only read this one and that one, so I don't know, I'll have to read more of his books to find out. But yeah, this was very interesting too. And so I'm just gonna do a spoiler-free review of the book. And if you want, you can go and buy this book and read it. I guarantee that although I loved the other more, I absolutely adore this one too. And it was very fast-paced and I read it really fast and I absolutely loved it. So maybe you will too. So without further ado, let's go into the review. So basically, Love in Times of Cholera is a story about love and relationships. And the main story is about three people. They are called Florentino Ariza, Firmina Daza, and Juvenal Urbino. And they are the three main characters of this book. So as you may perceive, there is sort of a love triangle, although I don't really agree with this definition, and I will tell you why really soon, but let's go with this for a while. There's supposed to be a love triangle in which the girl, Firmina Daza, is the main character, and then the other two are the other two main characters or the love interests. But I do believe that although their relationships are the best and biggest part of the book, and they're what makes the book go fluid, I do believe that the book is not about a love triangle as you are used to see probably in YA and other types of books, and it's more of a, how do I say this? It's more like a deconstruction of love, and I will proceed to explain why. I do believe that this book represents what love is in its different forms, like the ideal love, the depraved love, the idea of family love, the idea of marriage, the idea of relationships. This is a deconstruction of all of the ideas that we have about the subject. And one thing that Gabriel García Marquéz does, and I do believe that he does it very, very well, and this is my opinion only, but I believe that he shows you the archetype of the love that you're supposed to see. Like, I don't know, like maybe he shows you one character and he says, this is the ideal type of love because they're so in love and whatever, and then you go and you say, I agree, and the other one is not correct, and this one is the best one, but then he goes and he shows you little details that makes you question if your judgments about love and relationships are actually true, or if relationships are a little bit more complicated than that. And I do believe that that's amazing, because for me, human relationships are not black and white. And I do believe that, first of all, I do believe that you can like more than one person. Although I do understand that that might be a little bit complicated. And yeah, but I do believe that that's possible. But I do believe that it's possible to do it in different ways. Which means that for me, personally, and I do believe that this is an entire description of that, love has many, many ways of showing. And it's not always the same, it is impossible. And sometimes the things that we think are ideal are actually not, and the things that we see as wrong are actually not wrong. And I think that that's very, very accurate also for this time of our lives, like 2017, and we are still having some misconceptions about love. And I think that this book is still very important because of that, the way that it shows that relationships are not always as we suppose them to be. I think that this is very important for that reason only, if not by any other, which obviously it is important for a lot of reasons more. And actually, I do believe that one of the other reasons that this book is important is because it explores aging and ultimately death. And why is this important? Because nowadays there's still something that there was a long, long time ago, and certainly, okay, it's a little bit less, how do I say this, pronounced, but I do believe that today we still believe that love and passion and human relationships are more for young people than for old people. In a way that passion is always found in movies and stories and everything. I mean, for young adults or teenagers or, well, new adults, like the phase between the 20s and maybe 30s or something, but then you start aging. And, well, I don't really believe that you have a story with someone like, I don't know, let's just say it, 80 years old, 80? You're seeing what I get there? You don't have that, because there's a misconception, again, that love is for young people only and that old people are just there. They already have their life figured out and they're just there with whomever they want to be and everything is okay, but they don't fall in love because they don't have that time or they don't have that passion inside and whatever. And death has always a lot of misconceptions. So this book is very for nowadays, I believe, and I actually loved it for that. And I have to say that although I don't want to spoil anyone, I have to say that this ending was nice. It wasn't like, I personally didn't like it because, well, when you have 3 characters and only 2 can be together, in a way, sometimes you're a little bit biased to the characters. But I have to say that it was a very interesting ending, and an ending that I wasn't actually expecting in a way, because maybe for me it wouldn't be the same, I don't know, but I really liked it. And I think that Gabriel García Marquéz is a great writer, and I think that everything that he writes makes sense in a way, even though he writes a lot of magical realism. But I do have to say that this book has a little bit of magical realism, but it doesn't have as much magical realism as, for example, 100 Years of Solitude. So yeah, you can see that maybe this is a more, how do I have to say? I don't want to say contemporary book because it is not, but it is not as magical realism as the other one. Although you have some parts of it because it's part of his writing, so it's always there. But yeah, so basically, to go no further and not spoiling anyone, because what I wanted is to gush about this for all of the day. Basically, this is set in a city, and a named port city near the Caribbean Sea, I believe. And it takes place between 1880 and 1930. And so it's basically the story of our 3 characters, as I said, and their relationships and all of the people that live around them and with them. And it's very, very interesting, and I think that if you want to step a little bit outside of your comfort zone, if you like really good stories about relationships, if you love thinking about society in nowadays and also in the times before, because I do believe that this book applies to both. If you like to read a fast-paced story, not in an action way, but in a way of character development and a fast narrative, like I said this in my other video, but it looks like when Gabriel García Marquéz is telling a story, it looks like you're sitting by a campfire and just talking about stuff, and it goes by so fast. I read this so fast because this is not as political as his other books. It is more maybe easy to read. I don't know if that makes sense because I didn't thought the other one was very hard, but I think you get me. So if you want, I do recommend this book. I did love this book, and I think that maybe some of you guys would too. And as you know, my favorite genre is fantasy, so this for me, although it is magical realism, which is my second favorite genre, is a little bit far from my comfort zone, but I have to say that I am loving this writer. His write is everything right now, and I am going to continue to read his works, and I do recommend that you guys read some of his works too, because these are classics. These are books that are talked through generations and that I do believe are very, very, like, they can be applied to our days too, so I think they are very important in a way. So if you want, please give this book a shot, and I hope you like this review. If you like it, subscribe or leave a like, and happy readings to you all. Bye!